think we can all agree that the Vietnam War was absolutely horrible and unnecessary, and my father was over there too. But some of the stories from the GIs in those swampy, muggy jungles had come back with more than just war stories. They'd come back with stories of cryptids as well. There are the stories of the rock apes, Sasquatch-like cryptids, only shorter, that plagued our GIs for pretty much the majority of the war. The Conrit, a gigantic centipede. The Patutut, another Sasquatch-like creature. But one story, to me, stuck out. And it doesn't involve a big upright hairy ape. It actually involves something that isn't even on the ground at all. This particular cryptid was seen at night during the height of the Vietnam War. And the story goes like this. The story takes place in August of 1969. The U.S. 1st Marine Division were on guard duty, keeping a careful lookout for the Viet Cong. Everything was quiet and normal until around 1:30 in the morning. A man named Earl Morrison, along with several of his men, ended up with the shock of their lives. It was the dead of night, and the atmosphere had seemed to change. An eerie figure made itself known to the shocked soldiers. Morrison, somewhat reluctant to speak out publicly, he eventually changed his mind and by 1972 was comfortable enough about discussing what they had seen, even if he wasn't totally comfortable with what they encountered. His story is pretty incredible to say the least. We saw what looked like wings, like a bat's, only it was gigantic compared to what regular bats would be. After I got close enough so we could see what it was, it looked like a woman. A naked woman. She was black, her skin was black, her body was black, her wings were black, everything was black. But it glowed in the night, kind of a greenish cast to it. She started going over us and we didn't hear anything. She was right above us, and when she got over the top of our heads, she was maybe 6 or 7 feet up. We watched her go straight over the top of us, and she still didn't make any noise, flapping her wings. She blotted out the moon once. That's how close she was to us. And dark. Looked like pitch black then. But we could still define her because she just glowed, real bright-like. And she started going past us, straight towards our encampment. As we watched her, she had gotten about 10 feet or so away from us. We started hearing her wings flap. And it sounded, like regular wings flapping. And she just started flying off, and we watched her for quite a while. Don Worley, a UFO researcher, took a great deal of interest in the GI's story of the flying woman of Da Nang. His personal interview with Morrison revealed some additional information, such as the fact that the woman's hair was dark and straight, and that her wings may have had a slight furry quality to them. As for her arms, they appeared to lack bones. In the classic 80s book Alien Animals, investigators Janet and Colin Board had said of this very strange case, usually our reports of winged figures describe them as men, but without any indication whether features are seen, which tells the witness definitely that it is a man. In view of this, we suspect that so-called birdmen should strictly be termed bird people, or bird persons, and that no sex attribution can honestly be made. However, the Da Nang sighting does not come into that category. So, what do you think of the flying woman of Da Nang? I personally find Vietnam and war stories about cryptids very creepy, more so than just regular folks seeing something in their backyard or hiking in the woods. There's just something about the stress of wartime in seeing these beasts in the woods and not just your enemy that shakes me a little bit more than the rest. But what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments down below. And if you like what you heard, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and join us next time here on Unknown Territory for another episode of The Unknown Files, coming soon.